So Sinclair Broadcast Group is a very right-wing company. They have a right-wing agenda. They, of course, will say, no, we don't have a right-wing agenda. We're just trying to tell you the truth. When we air these very right-wing pro-Trump segments, that we tell our people are must-run segments, okay, featuring people like Boris Epstein. Okay, well, hey, you want to claim that you're not biased? You're incredibly biased towards the right. But of course, if somebody makes that argument, you could come back with, the media is very biased towards the left. I wouldn't say that either. I would say that there's an establishment bias. But anyway, I've talked about that before. Now, one great piece of evidence to show how they are biased towards Donald Trump specifically and the right is their embrace of Trump's message of fake news bad. And their understanding that fake news is basically anything that happens to be critical of President Trump. So that's why, as I said, they carry Trump's water on these must-run ads that they force older local news stations to run. So now, Sinclair has, of course, been the news ever since Deadspin put together this compilation of these different local news anchors all reading from this pro-Trump, anti-fake news, anti-mainstream media, whatever, script. And it was a super, super creepy script. Now, since then, they've been getting a lot of heat and criticism, which they, of course, 100% deserve. Now, Sinclair also wants to acquire Tribune. Now, right now, they've got about 30-something% share of the U.S. media market. That's, again, mostly local news stations, right? Now, Tribune, if they get the deal, if it gets approved, they will have about 72% of the entire television market share in the United States. That is a lot. That is a massive amount of television stations for Sinclair to actually run. Now, as I said before, they have a right-wing ideological bent. I mean, look, if you're making your stations run segments from former Trump campaign guys that happen to be pro-Trump and on issues that Trump talks about and taking his side on it, then yes, there is a problem, and that's also not an accident, and that is the problem with Sinclair. Now, The Guardian, it gets worse. Now, The Guardian has just learned that Sinclair's CEO David Smith had met with Trump after he won the presidential nomination back in 2016. So apparently they could say like, hey man, look, Trump's like the real deal, man. He's dominating this field, and there's a very good chance he would become president. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet with him, and basically we're going to swear fealty. Let me explain. I asked Trump, according to The Guardian, would you like us to embed with you during your campaign? And he brought a bunch of people into the room and said, well, whatever. And I said, quote, we are here to deliver your message, period. Now, that's something that seems a little odd, right? Imagine if, for example, MSNBC came into a room with Hillary Clinton and said, don't worry, Hillary, I'm here to deliver your message. Well, people might naturally freak out because it sounds terrible. Now, Smith told The Guardian, however, the comments signaled that Trump could be interviewed by Sinclair whenever he wanted. Not that the company was biased in his favor. Oh, well, that's interesting. But isn't that sort of a bias? Hey, Donald Trump, you can have all the access that you could ever want with us. But would they do the same deal with Hillary Clinton? Would they have done the same deal with Bernie Sanders? Would Lincoln Chafee have gotten that same deal with Sinclair? I mean, if they went and offered that, and they said they offered that to Hillary Clinton, to be fair, we said the same thing to Hillary Clinton too. But okay, what about the other people? If you're going to be fair media, then you should probably do that to everybody. You should probably spread that message to everybody. Hey, don't worry. I just want to get out your message because we believe in fairness in reporting. But again, I don't really believe that, because as they've shown, the company is massively biased in his favor. And of course, they ended up getting a lot of access to the Trump campaign. Now, in fact, Smith even said that, quote, "What I get out of it is access to a guy who's running for president, or a guy who's running for senator or governor or anything else. As any news organization does. You want to be on TV? Sure, we'd like to have you on TV." So that, of course, is what it's about. It's about access. And look, how did Smith try to use that access? Well, that's also a very interesting question. According to the Guardian report, Smith had met with Trump at the White House as part of an effort to discuss a product that would give authorities the ability to broadcast directly to people's phones and televisions. So they explain, the company has been a driving force in the development of a new broadcasting standard known as Next Gen TV, and is one of the first involved in making chips for televisions, cell phones, and other devices to receive the new transmissions. So this Next Gen TV requires a chip inside of your television, a chip that Sinclair makes, a chip that Sinclair will tried to lobby the government to make sure that these chips were mandatory. Well, what effect will that have? Well, for one, Sinclair would make a boatload of money if now their chip is required in every television, cell phone, or any other of these devices that are new. Well, then they would make a ton of money selling that chip. So, look, number one, that would be a big benefit to access, right? Being able to convince the president, which thankfully he did not, to say, or to get the government to try to use that standard, to adopt that standard. And look, he lobbied heavily for that. They did. Now, what is this Next Gen TV? Before I go further. As well as entertainment, the chip allows mobile devices to receive messages from an upgraded government public warning system, through which authorities can send video statements and multimedia even when telephone lines are down. Now look, on the one hand, that would be a good use of technology, right? Oh, having the government be able to send you messages about, just alerts on things like disasters in your area and where to go for help and things like that. Okay. Now, look, in principle, well, that sounds like it could be an incredibly helpful technology. However, this is also being sold by Sinclair, being controlled by Sinclair. Sinclair would, again, make all this money off selling this chip, and also would have control, I believe, over some of the messages. And if they do, oh boy. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.